Welcome into Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am Chase Sr., and the Warriors wrapped up their 5-game road trip with a loss last night against the Washington Wizards, and you could really tell that this team was fatigued and ready to get back home. They were up by 11 in the fourth quarter. Andrew Wiggins had an opportunity to tie the game late. His layup lipped out, and the Wizards streaking right now, led by Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. But I do want to get to the Warriors because, of course, this is Warriors Today. I mentioned this team just looking tired and sluggish after the game. They basically said, some of the players, we are excited to get back to California because this has been an arduous road trip at that. And Steve Kerr said as much, saying, quote, after the game, I think it was fatigue. I think we were just exhausted. I think we ran out of gas in the last 7 minutes or so. We had a good lead, seemingly in control, and we just couldn't get it done. I think the trip just caught up to us. I think our guys looked completely gassed. The Warriors looked gassed. So too did Steph Curry, because his insane hot streak, the heater as we deemed it here in Chat Sports, came to a close. Only 18 points against the Wizards, 8 assists, went 7 of 25 from the floor, and 2 of 14 from deep. But we have to pay respect to Steph Curry and look back at this historic 11-game stretch, because I think it's one of the hottest runs any player has ever gone on offensively in the history of the NBA. 11 games straight of 30 or more points. He beat Kobe Bryant's record of consecutive games of 30 or more points by a player who is 33 years old or older, and during that span hit 78 three-pointers, which is absolutely absurd. 4 games of 10-plus three-pointers, and the Warriors able to find a form of consistency as they tried to climb the Western Conference standings, went 7-4 in that stretch as well. So let me ask you this, my Dubs homies. Was that the hottest stretch that you've ever seen from any NBA player ever? Get into the comments and let me know. Type Y for yes or type N for no. Now that hot streak for Steph Curry, I mean, my goodness, he was making headlines and people were like, how is this guy doing this right now? And in the process was able to climb up the NBA MVP odds. Here's how things stand as we record this on Thursday. Nikola Jokic at -400. He is the leader in the clubhouse right now. Joel Embiid right behind him. Giannis at +2,000. James Harden, even though he hasn't played for a couple of weeks, at +2,500. And if you want some good value, Steph Curry, 30-1 to win the MVP. He'll have to do a lot, but it is certainly possible with about a month left in the regular season. But what he'd have to do to win the MVP, continue to play like he did over those 11 games. According to Steph Curry, he believes that he should be named MVP, which would be the 3rd of his career. He said this on the Rex Chapman podcast. I mean, I gotta be MVP. I gotta be. I probably won't get it, but whatever. I like to be dramatic sometimes, so I'm just setting the table. And he said that with a little laugh and chuckle because we know Steph Curry has a pretty good personality. And I think it's a worthy conversation to have. He is now the leading scorer in the league because he's overtaken Bradley Beal at averaging more than 31 points per game. He's shooting almost 49% from the floor, almost 43% from deep, and 92% from the free throw line, which is just Steph Curry type numbers right there. So, hey, is he going to win it? I think the Warriors will need to get up to the 6th seed. They've been currently floating around the 9-10th spot, but who knows? Crazier things have happened. Should Steph Curry win the NBA MVP, type M for MVP or type O for another player. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Fanatics. And if you want to rock the same jersey that Steph Curry rocks and feel good as he's sizzling and you want to sizzle too, we have a great deal going on right now. How about the Bay Warriors jersey, which was $74.99, on sale right now for $56.24. How do you buy it? It's really easy. You go to chatsports.com/CurryChat, and the Bay jersey is available right now. I think it's one of the freshest uniforms in the lineup for the Warriors. And I'm not saying that if you wear that same jersey that Steph Curry is wearing in the picture that you're going to go play pickup and hit 10 threes like Curry, but you'll feel a little bit better about yourself. And you know that saying out there, look good, feel good, play good. You're watching Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am Chase Sr., and the NBA draft is coming up in July. And what we've been doing here at Chat Sports is looking ahead and providing some scouting profiles of some prospects who could be available for the Warriors when they do pick in round 1. Now, we don't know when the Warriors are going to pick. Obviously, the Timberwolves' top 3 protected pick could go to the Warriors if it falls outside of the top 3, but as of right now, it looks as though the Warriors could be picking in the 14th to 18th range, but that's all going to change when everything shakes out with the NBA playoffs. So I put together this list of some NBA draft prospects that could be on the board when the Warriors do select, and it includes these 4 guys. Corey Kispert out of Gonzaga, James Bouknight of UCONN, Alperen Sengun, he plays in the Turkish Super League. He's a really talented forward and center, as well as Josh Giddey, who currently plays for the Adelaide 36ers in Australia. Let's kick it off with Corey Kispert. A lot of people became familiar with him during Gonzaga's run to the national championship, and I want to throw this player comp out there. Corey Kispert reminds me a little bit of Joe Harris, both in terms of his game and body size. Kispert checks in at about 6'7", 220 pounds, and does have some bounce. He shot 44% even on three-pointers last year for the Zags, and he was almost an 88% free throw shooter, so the stroke there is really clean and really nice. Now, he is a lethal shooter when he gets going. He can be streaky, but because of his athleticism and size, Mark Few used him a lot in that offense as a cutter as well, so he has that dynamic element to his game. And if I do have a concern for Corey Kispert against a Baylor team that was long, ferocious, and athletic, Corey Kispert looked overwhelmed and had a lot of trouble against that Baylor defense. Let's move on to James Bouknight now out of UConn. My dude can straight up get buckets, and he can score from anywhere at all 3 levels. He can get to the cup. He can hit some pull-ups. He can hit some three-pointers as well. Right now, he's not consistent enough for me to be a reliable long-term starter, but he reminds me a little bit of Lou Williams in the sense where if he's able to come in off the bench, he can score in bunches, and he can do so very, very quickly. So I think right away his game's going to translate to the NBA level because this guy can really score it. His length, he's about 6'5", is going to help him on defense. And when I do watch him, I see that he's very active on the defensive end, especially in the passing lanes. Just has a great knack for kind of putting his arms out there, deflecting passes, and generating turnovers. And before I did talk about that efficiency, has to become a more consistent shooter, especially with the way that the NBA game is translating. He only shot 29% from 3 this past year with the Huskies. Hey, if you made it this far, I hope you like what you're seeing here on Warriors Today, and we are churning out content like crazy every single week. And as we continue to grow, we're moving towards 16,000 subscribers. So to my Dubs homies who have subscribed, thank you very much. We're currently, though, at 15,669 subscribers. Can we really work on building that up? How do you do that? You hit that big red subscribe button down below and go to youtube.com/WarriorsTV, and you subscribe now. And with the NBA playoffs coming up, we're going to continue to cover this team. We're going to give you mock drafts as well as scouting profiles like we're doing right now. And with all of these NBA draft prospects, we're going to continue to put profiles together so you know who the Warriors could be in play for in July's NBA draft. Want to get to Alperen Sengun now. This big man is really intriguing for me because he's only 18 years old, but with Besiktas, according to producer Sam Brown, who is our foreign basketball expert here at Chat Sports, he is averaging nearly 20 points per game and 10 rebounds, so he can really fill it up as well. And while he doesn't shoot a lot of three-pointers, about 1 attempt per night right now, he does have nice touch, and he is a really good free throw shooter. So that tells me that the form is there, and I've seen some clips of him in practice and in warm-ups shooting threes. I think that touch and that stroke is certainly going to develop over time, and that's going to translate to the NBA level. And for a guy who is 6'10", he could add a little bit of weight. He moves really well and is an excellent passer out of the post and in transition as well. The question here for Alperen Sengun for the Warriors' sake is, well, we already have James Wiseman, so do we need to draft another big? But if they go BPA best player available, maybe Sengun is the guy. Let's wrap up this list with Josh Giddey out of Australia. I love watching this guy play. He is a 6'8 guard who's been playing overseas in Australia who can just dish it. His body type, his vision, and passing ability reminds me of another Aussie, Ben Simmons. Now, he's not going to be that generational type talent. He's not going to be an all-NBA defender like Simmons, but I'm talking size and passing and vision. Josh Giddey reminds me in that regard of fellow Aussie Ben Simmons. Not super quick and twitchy, but he makes up for it with kind of like heady, smart moves, and that passing allows him to find cutters and guys in transition. And because he's not super quick and twitchy, he has to be a good finisher around the rim. He's able to do that and kind of absorb contact. And as a point guard at 6'8", he is a very, very smart player with a basketball IQ, a player who is trending upward, who's going to be available in the teens, maybe the 20s, and a guy that the Warriors could pinpoint in July's NBA draft. Before we head out of here, do me a favor and do us a favor here at Chat Sports. Name an NBA draft prospect you want us to break down on a future show on Warriors Today. Leave a name in the comment, and we'll be sure to get to it in a future show.